Hello and welcome to my YouTube. This YouTube is remembering the year 1974. I was 30 years old and on the faculty of the University of Illinois in 1974. I lived in the tallest building in town, the Century 21 building. My apartment was on the 19th floor, so I had an amazing view of the campus. Richard Nixon was president. At least when the year began, he was president. On February 4th, Patty Hearst, the 19-year-old granddaughter of newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst, is kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army. This made headline news. Big story. On February 7th, 250 guests on horseback watched Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles movie premiere from horseback in one of Hollywood's zaniest movie premiere stunts. So the premiere was at a drive-in theater and you had to be on horseback. And 250 people on horses showed up. On February 17th, Robert K. Preston, a disgruntled U.S. Army private, buzzes the White House with a stolen helicopter. On March 4th, People magazine launches with actress Mia Farrow on the cover. On April 3rd, the super outbreak. It's the second largest tornado outbreak over a 24-hour period, with 148 confirmed tornadoes in 13 states, killing approximately 315 people and injuring nearly 5,500 people. On April 4th, Hank Aaron ties Babe Ruth's home run record. On April 5th, Stephen King's first novel, Carrie, is published and later made into a movie. On April 29th, President Nixon announces he's going to release the Watergate tapes. These were tape recordings made in the Oval Office. So Nixon installed a tape system and secretly recorded all the conversations in the Oval Office. He forgot about it when he and H.R. Haldeman were discussing the Watergate break-in. Well, the House votes to initiate impeachment proceedings against President Nixon. When they listened to what was on those tapes, they became convinced that President Nixon had committed impeachable offenses. On May 17th, that Symbionese Liberation Army had a shootout with LA police, and it killed 6 of the Symbionese Liberation Army members in a gunfight and a resulting fire. It set their house on fire. This is one of the largest police shootouts in American history. More than 9,000 rounds were fired. Huge nationwide story. On June 15th, All the President's Men is published, detailing the Watergate scandal. This is the first definitive book about the Watergate scandal, authored by Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein. On July 19th, a rail car explosion in Decatur, Illinois. A tanker car collided with a Norfolk and Western boxcar. 7 people are killed and 349 are injured. $18 million in property. Decatur is only 36 miles from my home in Illinois. On August 9th, President Nixon resigns. And Gerald Ford, his vice president, becomes president. The next month, on August 20th, Nelson Rockefeller is selected as the U.S. Vice President by President Gerald Ford. On September 8th, Ford pardons Nixon. In a very controversial executive action, President Gerald Ford pardons his disgraced predecessor, Richard M. Nixon, for any crimes he may have committed or participated in while in office. They're still talking about this. On September 8th, American motorcycle daredevil Evel Knievel attempts to jump the Snake River Canyon in Idaho, but he fails. He did escape with minor injuries. It wasn't a motorcycle. It was basically a little one-man rocket ship. This is an actual photograph in flight. You can see he's up in the air. He got about halfway and pulled the parachute. He never made it. On October 30th, Muhammad Ali wins the Rumble in the Jungle. This boxing match took place in the Congo in Africa. He knocked out George Foreman and once again became the world heavyweight champion for the second time. On November 13th, Karen Silkwood dies in a mysterious one-car crash. 28-year-old Karen Silkwood is killed in a car accident near Crescent, Oklahoma. Silkwood worked as a technician at a plutonium plant operated by Kerr McGee. She had been complaining about safety violations. And in fact, she was on her way to meet with a reporter from the New York Times when she was mysteriously killed in this one-car crash. A few years later, they made a movie about it, and Meryl Streep played Silkwood. On November 24th, a skeleton from the hominoid species is discovered and named Lucy. The bones are 3.2 million years old. We all became familiar with Lucy. On December 1st, TWA Flight 514 crashes 25 miles northwest of Dulles International Airport during bad weather, and it killed all 92 people on board. On December 10th, Representative Wilbur D. Mills, a Democrat from Arkansas, resigns as chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. This was a very powerful politician, the Ways and Means Committee, and he's chairman of it. It's in the aftermath of the first truly public sex scandal in American politics. See this young lady right here? Let me show you how she's dressed for work. You see, her name is Fannie Fox, and she was a stripper in Washington, D.C., and Wilbur Mills was carrying on a very public, torrid affair with her. Well, one night, Fannie and Wilbur are in a car, and the car is speeding in Washington, D.C. with no lights on, so the police pull it over. Fannie Fox becomes alarmed and is embarrassed, so she jumps out and takes off running, and she jumps into the tidal pool, thinking it's a wading pool. Unfortunately, it's 10 feet deep. Anyway, the police pull her out, handcuff her, and haul her off to jail. And the aftermath of this was Wilbur Mills was forced to resign in disgrace. On December 30th, it became official. The Beatles are legally disbanded. They got together and legally signed a paper dissolving the Beatles. Who was born in 1974. The actor Christian Bale. The actress Hilary Swank. The TV host Jimmy Fallon. The actor Joaquin Phoenix. The actor Leonardo DiCaprio of Titanic fame. The TV host Ryan Seacrest. The actress Amy Adams. The singer Jewel. The actress Penelope Cruz. What was introduced in 1974? Rubik's Cube is invented by a Hungarian architecture professor. Erno Rubik was his name. The Heimlich maneuver is introduced by this guy by the name of Heimlich. Bailey's Irish Cream is introduced. Meow Mix is brought onto the market. I had Siamese cats for years. I bought my share of Meow Mix. Sprite Zero Sugar was introduced that year. And in China, they discovered 8,000 Chinese buried terracotta statues. 8,000. These things were buried along with a Chinese emperor. They were his army. And what's amazing is every face was unique. So apparently they had 8,000 soldiers pose for these faces. Can you imagine how long and what effort it took to carve and bury 8,000 clay warriors? Post-it notes were invented. Skittles were introduced. The Dungeons and Dragons game was introduced. The Volkswagen Golf was introduced that year. The UPC barcode was invented by this guy named George. So what were the most popular TV shows in 1974? Number 1, All in the Family. Archie Bunker. Number 2, Sanford and Son. Number 3, Chico and the Man. Number 4, The Jeffersons. And number 5, MASH. What were the top grossing movies of 1974? Which ones made the most money? Number 1, Blazing Saddles, the Mel Brooks Western comedy, starring Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder. Number 2, The Towering Inferno, big stars here, Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, William Holden, and Faye Dunaway. Here's McQueen and Newman and Dunaway. Number 3, Young Frankenstein, starring Gene Wilder, Marty Feldman, and this is Terry Garr. Number 4, Earthquake, Charlton Heston, Ava Gardner, George Kennedy. Number 5, Airport 75, starring Charlton Heston, George Kennedy, and Karen Black. The average salary for a man was around $11,100. The cost of a new Ford was about $4,000. A gallon of gas cost 54 cents. Now, I retired from Apple Computer after 30 years, so I thought this was interesting. My former boss, the founder and CEO of Apple, Steve Jobs, he was 18 years old and he had joined Atari as a game designer. He didn't last too long, 6 months. The TV show Happy Days debuted. Who were the top singers back in 1974? Elton John came in as number one. This is based upon record sales, radio plays, and jukebox, but jukebox wasn't much in 74. Number two, John Denver. Number three, Paul McCartney. Now remember, by this time, the Beatles were no more. All of the Beatles were individual acts. Number four, Barry White. What a beautiful baritone voice he had. And number five, Stevie Wonder. I remember when he first came out, he was called Little Stevie Wonder. But eventually we dropped the word little. So what were the top songs of 1974? The number one song, The Way We Were by Barbra Streisand. Number two, Seasons in the Sun, Terry Jacks. Number three, Love's Theme by the Love Unlimited Orchestra. Number four, Come and Get Your Love by Redbone. And now I'd like to play and sing two popular songs from 1974. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Usual crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He said, "Son, can you play me a melody? Not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes." Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight, where we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling alright. John at the bar is a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free, and he's quick with a joke or to light up your smoke, but there's someplace he'd rather be. He
said, Bill, I believe this is killing me, as a smile ran away from his face. Well, I'm sure that I could be a movie star if I could get out of this place. Had time for a while, and he's talking with Davy, who's still in the Navy, probably will be for life. And the waitress is practicing politics as the businessmen slowly get stoned. Yes, they're sharing a drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone. A song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight, where we're all in the mood for a melody. You got us feeling alright. It's a pretty good crowd for a Saturday. The manager gives me a smile, 'cause he knows that it's me they've been coming to see, to forget about life for a while. And the piano, it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer. And they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight, where we're all in the mood for a melody. You got us feeling alright. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take her man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair and ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and she cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep, and nothing she can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can only understand how you could easily take her man, but you don't know what he means to her, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take her man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. You could have your choice of men, but she could never love again. He's the only one for her, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. Her happiness depends on you, and whatever you decide to do, Jolene.